Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Jaime De Anda of Los Chamacos to my morning show. Good morning, Jaime.
Good morning. I was about to say, golly, what time do you wake up? Because you know how musicians are. They're always, it's like they sleep a little late here, this and that. But I tell you what, I just want to say thank you, man, for giving me the opportunity to say, good morning to all our fans and let them know that, hey, we're back on the air also.
That's right, Jaime. How you been doing, amigo?
Fíjese que gracias a Dios que muy bien, and besides traveling and touring and keeping our fans, letting them know that Los Chamacos are still around, been great. It's been really great. We signed with a new record label, entitled, the record label is VMB Music Group, and they're here out of San Antonio. It's the studio's at Gilbert Velasquez Studio and stuff. So a great bunch of guys. We just came out with a brand new CD with these guys. It's called Born to Be Bad.
That's awesome. I tell you what, Jaime. Let's go ahead. Let me let people know before we take off on all this. I want people to know some of your accomplishments, what you guys have done in the music industry. Check this out, everybody. This is simply phenomenal. It really, really is. Grammy Award nominees for the year 1996, 97, 98, 99, and 2000. 3 Latin Grammy nominations in the year 2000, 2003, and 2009. Premios a la Música Latina, 2010. Tejano Roots Hall of Fame Museum, 2011. Conjunto Progressive, Jaime y Los Chamacos. Y también Tejano Globe Awards, 2013 and 2013 Tejano Conjunto of the Year. Y también 2013 Best Male Artist of the Year, Jaime De Anda y Los Chamacos. Woohoo!
It's like a long legacy there going on, huh?
Amigo, you've been taking care of some business, man.
Well, I tell you what, like everybody says, it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of hardship. When you're out there traveling and you're playing your hearts out to your fans, it's good to know that that's what someone that says, we appreciate what you're doing. That's what the awards sometimes, they mean a lot to us.
There you go. Simply awesome. Jaime, I tell you what, before anything else, I want to share a quick little story with you. My dad, he's still alive. I'm very blessed to still have my parents, but my dad back in the day, I remember one time walking into his living room. Yeah, I was married and stuff and doing this thing back in the day, and I remember walking into the living room and he was playing an album. And I said, Dad, who is that, Dad? He goes, no, estos chavalones están pero pesados, esos guys están pesados. Pues who is it, Dad? He said, Los Chamacos. And I looked at it and I said, Dad, I've never heard of them, but at the time I wasn't into Tejano or anything like that. He goes, no, óyelo, mijo, estos guys están cabrones, están pesados.
Wow.
I said, okay. And I tell you what, Jaime, no lie, this is all true. So he goes, go to the fridge and go get us a couple of beers. I said, all right, Dad. Got a couple of beers, got another beer, and I said, you're right, Dad, si están pesados, estos guys.
To be honest with you, as you were looking at some of our history, I couldn't believe that, I was born and raised out of Houston, of course. I started when I was five and a half years old, playing the drums here and there, back and forth, because my dad was he played the bajo sexto, and back in the days, we're talking the 70s. So, when I listened to music back then, it was all about, tropical, Tex-Mex, Chicano music and stuff, and Conjunto was not as famous or not as big back then because, we're talking Tono de la Rosa, that when you listen to it, everybody would say, what? That's music you hear, in the bars, in the cantinas, you would always hear that. And I didn't realize that I was following my dad because my mom would always say, go with your dad. And here I am little. Every weekend, my dad was a mechanic during the week, and he would go play with his compadres on the weekends. And my mom, here he is. Go with your dad. Go with your dad. And I said, Mom, look what you did. Going with my dad. Look what happened. She goes, oh, I know. Otro músico.
Look at Jaime, your dad introduced you to the accordion.
Well, yes, sir, because he played the bajo sexto. Him and his compadres, Chema Sanchez and Ned Ponce, and they had another drummer back then. They were playing at local bars, in Houston, and here I am there, como chicle, como dice mi mamá, ay, estás de chicle con tu papá. Listening to the music so much, and playing with my little cars here, little model cars here, and Matchbox cars, thinking, here I am, what am I doing here? But at the same time, I didn't know I was listening. I was listening and listening, and I got motivated. So at home, well, when we got back after weekends, my dad would take me to the mechanic shop, and here he is working on cars. Here I'm listening to the radio back then, A&M, AM. I'm sorry, AM radios were back then. That's all you heard, And here, I would get two steel rods, and I'm banging here, banging there, banging this phone, and banging fans, and banging cans until my dad walked in, and my dad said, "Mira este huerco, chinelas, go buy him a set of drums, por favor, get him something because he's breaking everything in the office." So then, back then it was Mr. Lubbock's store in Houston, and they bought me a set of drums, small set of drums, and here I am not realizing that, hey, I'm practicing. So one day, my dad and them, they happened to, they were going to practice at the house. And pues, I guess the drummer didn't make it. He didn't show up or something happened. And so my dad told my compadre, well, mira, ahí está mi hijo. He's been playing the drums so much. Why don't we give him a chance? And, and we're talking back then, 3 instruments back then. Bajo sexto, accordion, and drummer. There was no bass player back then.
Wow.
So here, they're over here, ahí está mi hijo, mira. He can follow a polka or something. So I didn't know I was really learning at the same time. Well, before you know it, they played a couple of polkas, and I already knew the beats. I was following them. And my dad's compadre was saying, "Oh, mira, he can play." I said, "Well, let's try something else." They would try a little bongo here and there, and I had the hang of it here before you know it. And then before you know it, the next night I was practicing with them again, and then, you know what they said? "Mijo, you're hired, mijo." And I thought, well, I'm all excited. I get to play in the band. Didn't know I was not going to get paid, though, because, I was a little kid. But 5 years old, I started playing with them locally. We started playing a lot of house parties. That's how it starts, a lot of gatherings. And believe it or not, who's my roadie? My mom. Because I was
really?
My mom would take my drums down, set up my drums for me, and everything. Here we are at the house parties and playing the house parties. And before you know it, as any other kid, throughout the years of learning and not realizing, I was hearing the accordion. And I was already, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, playing so much, 11 years old. I started telling my dad, "Dad, I want to learn the accordion now. I'm tired of the drums." "No, hombre, ¿cómo que you're tired of the drums?" "I'm not going to buy an accordion y luego I lo vas a dejar, and you're not going to play it." I said, "Dad, no, I'll learn it. I want to." So I started hearing a lot of Dona La Rosa polkas and this and that. And I said, "Dad, I will go to Chema Sanchez's house every day and learn the polka to show you." A ver, vamos a ver. Well, here I am. I'm learning. I go every day and learn. I learned a polka within 1 week. My first polka was a Totonilco polka. That's all you heard around the house. No, I played it all day long. And I told my dad, "Dad, I got a polka," and I played it for him, this and that. And he said, No, not just one. Show me another one. Like 3 or 4, 5. I said, "Dad," I said, "if you want me to buy an accordion, you got to really show it to me that you really mean it." I said, "Hijo." So there I was, before you know it. Then we started, my cousins, David De Anda, my nephew Ruben De Anda, started hanging out with us, and we were just playing around with the instruments because now my dad had drums there. He had his bajo sexto there, of course. We started learning about a bass player working with us, and we started practicing at the house, back and forth, just practicing back and forth and learning, not realizing that we were forming a little family band, because my dad thought, maybe they can, So what did he do? We started playing at little parties again. Otra vez, so my cousins and everybody got involved, and we started knowing. My dad said, "Okay, look, can you sing?" I said, "Dad, sing? We barely speak Spanish. ¿Cómo que can we sing?" But I was listening to the Relámpagos back then. I was listening to Los Cachorros.
Sure.
Yeah, everybody. Back then, but then I started hearing Varela Longoria. I started hearing about him, and I started hearing about, Ruben Naranjo a little bit here, and all these artists now, different, and I wasn't much into Little Joe and Orquesta because I thought I can't, because we played conjunto every weekend. I realized that's what it was called, conjunto music. Pero all this time we didn't even realize that we were creating something for the young generation. Because we were playing at Matamoros Ballroom. You ever been there back in the days?
Matamoros Bar in Houston, Texas?
Yeah, Matamoros Ballroom on Jensen Drive.
Never.
Man, that's where it all started. I'm talking about Los Chamacos, Uncle Flores, Dona Rosa, I'm talking La Mafia. I'm talking everybody started right there in that ballroom. That's where we all got together and started playing and started realizing that we were creating, a new generation, a new era for music, and believe me, I love to dance. So as I'm watching other bands play, sometimes when we would play with Dona Rosa, I would stand in front and just, like in the days, I would watch. And then when I would get tired of watching, what would I do? I'd tell my sisters or my cousins, let's go dance. I love to dance. I'll dance while bongos. I would dance rancheras. I would do all kinds of stuff. So we started thinking about, we're practicing at home. What could we do? How could we add to it? Let's spice it up, the conjunto music, and add dancing and all kinds of stuff. Man, I practiced so much at home, and not realizing that the energy we had, we had the opportunity of recording our first 8-track.
8-track.
I'm not kidding you.
What year was this, Jaime? What year was this?
This was 1980. 1980. Before we recorded the 8-track, our name was called Las Estrellas de Houston, just a local band, playing in Houston, because we were all family. So we had the opportunity to come to San Antonio. You ever heard of Agapito Zúñiga?
Yes.
Okay, well, he's the one. He had a studio in his garage. We went in there, and we were playing around and practicing. We were trying to record some songs here, and Mr. Agapito was talking to my dad. Pues, ¿quién son estos huercos? Pues my dad says, estos son mis chamacos. That's what he had said. He said, tus chamacos. ¿Y cómo se llama el grupo? He said, pues Las Estrellas de Houston. So they were talking without realizing we're practicing and trying to record. I was recording a Chubasco. I think I want to remember it was A Cortar una Gardenia. I'm trying to remember the songs back in the 8-track. And it was a song called Descalzo al Laredo. I remember some of them. And while we were recording, my dad goes, oiga muchachos, vénganse para acá. I said, dice el señor Agapito que we should change the names. He says, what are you talking about, Dad? He said, I told him you're my chamacos. He said, we should call the band Los Chamacos de Raul De Anda. And that's how it started the first time, 1980 on an 8-track.
Wow.
Yeah. And from there, it just kept going. You know how history goes. It takes its place.
Jaime, when did y'all make the move from Houston? Porque from there, did you move to Corpus?
No. Well, there I still lived in Houston for so many years, and then I moved to San Antonio. I've been here over 20-something years already.
I don't know why I've got Corpus, maybe porque Freddie Records. Maybe that's why I got the time.
Exactly. Back then, we were always in Corpus. We were always recording back then because we had the opportunity from... my first recording was, after that, I recorded, Johnny Canales, Mr. Take It Away, You Got It.
Of course.
That man, what that man did to Tejano, to Conjunto, to Regional, to Tropical, to everything, when he started his TV show, that really boomed everything for all of us. That really gave us, exposure out of Houston, out of the state. We used to travel together to go to Oregon, Idaho, everywhere out there. We started playing with all these other bands, and his TV show, when he kicked off his TV show, we had the opportunity to kick it off at the same time with him touring out of state. Man, he has been there since day one. And you can't believe how much we appreciate what he's done for the band, what he's done for all of us, what he's pushed so hard to keep all of us alive. And especially the best thing to see is when you see yourself on TV, wow, you do feel like you've accomplished a lot of things. And that's what
Now let me ask you something, Jaime. Now you're starting, you're doing your thing, you're taking off. Now, ¿no te ponías nervioso getting up on stage?
Oh my God, definitely. But we were playing around so many, house parties and everything gathering. It all felt like, like a pachanga. It felt like just, like I said, a house party. So at the same time, sure, I was nervous. I would look down and I didn't want to look forward. And, I was kind of, and my dad said, Mijo, you need to look forward. You need to look right. I'm like, Dad, I don't know whether to listen or go home. Como un niño, But me regañaba bastante, but, I didn't, back then, our parents were old school. They taught us their ways because they thought this is what discipline is about. This is how we can show you, or this is what we think that you need to learn and you need to listen. And without realizing it, look, I sometimes think, I cannot believe what my dad's done to me, the things he's yelled at me, and the things he said to me, and how he gets mad at me. And I used to get mad and say, I used to want to quit and get tired. And then you think about it, and you think, wow, never thought.
Jaime, Jaime, when I first got into this crazy business back into the 80s, I remember I would go to my dad, check out the song, Dad. And Dad, check out this other song. And he goes, esa canción está más vieja. And check out the song, Dad. Esa canción está... To me, it was brand new. But to him, no, esa canción está más vieja. And I've noticed in a lot of your playlists, Jaime, I'm talking, from album to CD, however you want to put it, pero you've got a lot of the, como se dice, los pioneers of Tejano music in a lot of your music. You really do.
I you know, when you say that, you're right, because, you know, our fans would tell their moms, you know, look, Chamacos came out with this new song called Un Puño de Tierra, or this song, whatever, or, you know, whatever song. They're like, really? No, hombre, esa canción está más vieja que and my grandma days, and the kids are like, what? And, you know, what I would hear from my fans, too, I would think, wait a minute, let's do a little tracking history of where these songs, how far they go back, not realizing, because I was grabbing music from Ramon Ayala, you know, Los Cachorros, I did Un Complejo. I did, you know, a couple of Ramon Ayala style songs.
Sure.
I was grabbing songs from Tony La Rosa, not realizing where he was grabbing his songs from. And then Ángel Flores, I would hear a lot of Ángel Flores to me, and I realized that his songs were from Jose Alfredo Jimenez. And I'm thinking, who are these people? Who are they? You know, they would tell me the history. No, you can't believe. You know, some of these songs even come from mariachi bands, you know, that you're listening to, that people created and converted it into a conjunto music and changed the style. See, that's what they say, that you can grab a music, and if you really listen to it and you take away all the instruments, try to create something on your own. Well, I'll tell you something. When I was learning accordion and I got the opportunity to play with Mr. Tony Rosa one time, he said, Nico, tocas muy bien, pero te voy a decir una cosa. I'm like, uh-oh, me va a regañar. I already knew that. Definitely, you know. He goes, you need to find your own estilo. I went, ¿mande? I don't understand. You need to find your own estilo. It's good that you copy all these artists, this and that, yes. But you need to find your own style. You know, the hardest thing was to figure out, what does that mean? How do you do that? I don't understand. You know, because I played a little bit of everybody. When you're a kid, you're listening, you're imitating, you're following, not realizing that you're one day going to create something, or one day going to finally do your own thing. Well, I didn't understand what he meant until...
You were a cover band, right? That's what you were. You were pretty much a cover band.
Exactly. That's where we all start. That's how we all started. We don't know.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You're going to copy somebody, you know? Yeah. That's right. He said, no. Ya es tiempo. You need to get your own style. And I'm like, I don't get it, you know? Pero con el tiempo, after so many years, and having the opportunity to speak with him, and even Mr. El Gran Señor de Paz Descanse, he just passed away, Mr. Dos Rivertos, you know? When I used to hear them in the 80s, oh my God, I thought, oh, I like it. I want that, you know. I like that ánimo, that alegría, that puncture, that, you know, they had that style, movimiento, you know, that conjunto was, it wasn't not just conjunto, it was, that compás was alegría, you know, and I kept thinking, that's what I want too, and then, how do I get it, how do I find it, you know, and believing, you know, as a musician yourself, when you sit there and you play and you play and you play and you create, when you get into your own little world, you start getting into another world of your own.
That's right.
You know?
That's
and
right.
It's hard to explain. Yeah, it's hard to explain it to people, but wow, I'm like, is that what he meant? Is that what he's trying to tell me? How, if you really think and work at it, you can create, you can try to do your own thing, and you'll create your own style, and oh my God, I thought, wow, what a blessing to have the opportunity to meet all these gentlemen before they passed away, to speak with them and have the honor of playing with them and, you know, get their advice. And that's what they did for me. You know, they did me. They passed on something to me.
That is simply awesome. Jaime, let's take a break in the action. You're listening to Robert Rivas Radio, and I'm here with Jaime De Anda of Los Chamacos.
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more. And I'm back here with Jaime De Anda. Wait, Jaime, you know, dude, I know we're talking about all this stuff, all these pioneers of Tejano music and stuff. So, Jaime, where did this relationship come between you and Freddie Records?
Well, to be honest with you, it's back then when we were playing with Johnny Cananas a lot, you know, he would sing songs with us, man. He would tour with us for his shows. He would tour with us a lot out of state and everywhere else. And then, you know, he created, I'm going to tell you, this one album that didn't get recognition too much, but we had the opportunity of meeting, and everybody knows who Juan Gabriel is. Well,
right. His
manager is called Máximo Aguirre. Máximo Aguirre, back in the time, he was not touring so much or wanted to, you know, expand his promotion. Well, they created a label called Heréndida Records. Now, at any of the records, they talked a lot with Johnny Canales, and they kept telling Johnny, hey, pues we're going to do this label. What do you think we should do? Who should we record? Who should we look for? I mean, any artist. And Johnny spoke very highly of us all the time, and he recommended us. And he said, you guys got to hear this group and this and that. They're young and everything, but they were out of California, you see. The difference was they weren't too much about Tejano to know what it was about because they were out of California. So we had the awesome adventure of meeting these guys. Mr. Chucho Rincon is a huge songwriter. I didn't realize this, but he wrote some songs for us. And Como Periquitos is a charanga that he wrote for us, and I play it, and it's original. And El Ejal del Diablo that we do also is original. And we did one album with them. But the only thing was they were out of California. And the excitement was we got to travel to California. We got to go to Beverly Hills. We got to have, all these high-class posters, pictures, photographers do things for us. And we're walking down Beverly Hills and, even though we don't belong here, but it felt like an honor, to be in a different world and to realize, wow, this is something, can it help us benefit? Yes. One is there wasn't that many record labels that were into conjunto, or they were into so many artists at the time. So after that, they decided that it's a little. We did one album with them for about a year or two, and they decided to move on. They decided, they figured they wanted to stay into international and change their their recording bands and stuff. So that's when Johnny said, well, you know what, Jaime? I know I got you into the record label, but you know what? Let's try another person, and I know a good man. He's from Corpus Escalotro. He mentioned Freddie Records, Mr. Freddie Martinez. And that's when, back then, now that we're playing, well, my cousin, David De Anda's not playing with me anymore. Now it's Juan P. Moreno, you see.
Oh,
so
wow, okay.
Yeah, so now we started changing. This was back in, my cousin was with me, oh, my God, till 80, David De Anda was with me from 78, 79, all the way to about 81, 80, maybe 82. Or after 83, well, he got out. And, everybody, how families are. They don't get along. Everybody's arguing. Everybody wants to do their own thing. They have their own style. They have their own ideas. And, we're all going back and forth. And,
Jaime, y esto es familia. Y es familia. Can you imagine?
That's the bad part. Cause that gives them more rights. Hey, I'm family. I get to make a decision here. I get to change everything up. Right? I'm like, I know, but I'm like, Dad, what are we gonna do? I don't know. You guys figure it out. Well, yeah, we figured it out all right. Got into arguments and how it is. And no, well, you do your own thing. I do my own thing, and that's fine. But then you go your way, I go my way. Before you know it, there it goes. And a lot of times not realizing that's how a lot of Tejano and conjunto bands formed their own. Got to be more musicians out there because everybody was creating their own bands.
Right.
So before you know it, there's not 5 anymore. There's like 10, 15, 20. Like, well, how did that happen? Well, look at all the bands that used to be together. Now they're all separate. And that's how they create a lot of bands. So
different ideas, different estilos, and all that other. But Jaime, you guys, man, just put out album after album after album, and just hit after hit after hit. And you guys were just simply kicking ass out there, Jaime. You guys really, really were. But let me bring up one song, because I got to move forward, because tanto éxito que traen ustedes, we'd be here all night, dude. And but I got to bring up one song that's always caught my attention. I've always loved the song that y'all performed is Ex-Novia.
Oh my God, yeah, okay.
Talk to me about this song, dude.
Well, you see, I have to give props to my bass player. His name is Eduardo Ordóñez. Right now, he's with me. He's still with me. He's been with me 28 years. 28 years. Now, he's from Ali's. He grew up with Naranjo, all these guys, all these other artists, And at the time, we were recording all these different songs and had so many ideas. And, well, I tell you, we didn't know to look for something. The first thing that helped us was mi música favorita,
Right.
See, to try something different, when they brought the song to me, they said, hey, Jaime, what would you think about recording a song that says something about Rubén Vela, Rubén Naranjo, Tonada Rosa, it says Ramón Ayala? I said, I'd be honored. Oh, my God. I'd be honored singing a song like that because I grew up with all these guys, and I admire them. So after that, we started digging again. Well, what can we do? And back then, man, it was so easy to come out with a hit because everybody was excited. Everybody was excited because we're the youngest conjunto now. We were the only conjunto back in the 80s that was around that we couldn't believe that we were attracting a younger generation to get into la acordeon. So how do you get more girls' attention, this and that? And think about, when they brought me that song, Ex-Novia, I went, oh, my God. am I going to get in trouble? Because how many people are going to relate to that? How many people are going to accept it? How many people are going to be getting in trouble? And the ones that like it and the ones that don't like it, And I thought, wow, that song, when we did it in the studio and recorded it, we thought it was not going to, we didn't think it was going to be that much of a big hit. Man, when it went to now we started crossing over to Mexico. When it went into Monterrey, it became, a huge hit over there. And we thought, oh my God, that's it. Things like this that people love to, that not realize that we're so young, that what's music about? Reality.
Right. Thinking of the past, you remember? Yeah, sure.
So Ex-Novia was the bomb for us without even realizing it. When they gave it to us, and I think his name is Carlos Semilla. I think he's from Alice. He's out of Alice, Texas. And Chato, these guys, my bass player, Eduardo, he knows them, this and that. So he was talking with them when they came. He says, hey, tell the Chamacos, man, tell Jaime and them they want to try this song. I got a song here, but, I don't know, you might like it or not. But believe me, I couldn't believe the response that we got. Oh, my goodness. And we told him, thank you so much. We need more.
Actually, también, Jaime, now, you've got another song that you were talking about, Tona de la Rosa. Now, my dad he had this taco place back in the 70s, man, and I grew up in this taco place, and of course in the jukebox, all the groups you mentioned, Los Cachorros, Tona de la Rosa, Ramon Ayala, all that stuff was in the jukebox. But I remember this one song that I always sang along to, and I always liked it. And just the other morning, I was with my dad. We went to go eat a taco, and I had my iPod going, and your song came out, and you know what song I'm going with? Canción del Preso.
El Preso, yes, sir. I was going to say
Oh, my God, man. What a song, dude.
But you know what got me? When I heard him play it, I thought, where's the music? That's it. Da, 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 da. The way it goes, that's it. I'm thinking, yeah, but when I heard it, we started learning it, wait a minute, let's hear it again. Where's the music? No, that's it. Da, 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 da. My dad said, no, hombre, la canción. Óigalo, lo que dice la canción. And this the guy that wrote it was, I remember Greg, one of his bass players, partners from Tona Rosa. We got to meet him and talk with him and stuff. And, oh, my God, I can't believe it. When you're growing up and you're talking to all these people at the time, you didn't know that the legacy they were leaving behind, what they were creating, stories that they're talking about that he said that he passed through. The Canción del Preso was written by Mr. Ramon Medina. That man is out of Laredo, Casablanca. I grew up with that man. I grew up with him and his family out of Laredo. I used to go to Casablanca since I was 15, 16 years old. And I used to talk to him before he passed away. He played the bajo sexto, and he used to play with Tona Rosa también. And he told me, Jaime, I can't believe you recorded that song, Jaime. I never thought you would. I thought the Malos Señores would record that song. I thought, oh, my God, am I getting that old or what is it? But you know what? The love of music is, what's crazy about it is there's no boundaries. It's whatever you feel and whatever's out there and whatever's in your heart, people are going to hear it. They're going to feel it.
You know what, Jaime? I couldn't have put it better myself, and I tell you what, let's take a break in the action. You're listening to Robert Rivas Radio Morning Show, and I'm here with Jaime De Anda of Los Chamacos.
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more. Oye, Jaime, esa canción, Ex-Novia. Dude, I listened to it, and I'm thinking, well, ¿a cuál ex-novia? ¿La de 77, la 1978, la 1980? Pues ¿a cuál ex-novia? I mean, there's too many here, man.
I tell you, I never realized it, it was going to relate to a lot of, fans out there or a lot of friends out there, or even myself, I've had a few of them, a few ex-novias that would show up at the concerts and, hey, did you write that song for me? I'm thinking, how do you answer that, right? At the time, And I'm thinking, not realizing that the impact, what a song can do, the power of a song, what it can do. You're in one mood at one moment, and you hear a song, and, man, it will change your mood like that.
Jaime, I can only imagine. Okay, you were with Freddie Records for how long?
Since 1989, I was with him to the year 2000, and I want to say 8 or 9. I gave
so
him
about 20 years.
17. I gave him about 17 albums.
Now, let me ask you, just out of curiosity, you being with Freddie Records that long, I'm sure you have to have been approached by other record labels. Hey, Jaime, come on with us, man. Come on, dude. Hey, Jaime. ¿Verdad?
Oh, my God, yes. But, I'm thinking, where were y'all when we didn't have this opportunity? And my dad always told me, don't don't what'd you say? Don't bite the hand that feeds you, or don't leave the person that's been so faithful to you, that hasn't given up on you. You know, remember, because when you start running, you're gonna fall fast. You're gonna fall fast on your face because you're gonna feel that. Oh, well, I got a better deal over here. Why don't we go over here? Well, what if it's just a deal, but not the family, the communication? You know, when you speak, they're going to listen to you or not, or you're going to be just a number.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
And
that's right,
you
man.
don't want to. Sometimes it's really hard when everybody can paint you a beautiful picture, but God, are you really in it, or is that picture just their picture? Because man, anybody can tell you anything that'll give you the world. But can they, when it's time? Can they really do it? No, then you feel alone and you feel on your own, and then you feel like, what did I do? Why didn't I listen to, you know, and do what I can? Because when you have a relationship that long, almost, 17 albums I gave Freddie Records, we did so much, so long. Hey, after a while, what happens? Yeah, you're going to get burned out. You know, yeah, you're going to get frustrated out. Hey, maybe they have other ideas. You know, maybe they have other young artists also, you know. Maybe they feel that it's time to move on. And then I started feeling like, now we're becoming a number.
Is that what happened, Jaime? Was there a burnout between you and Freddie Records?
That's what I feel is happening because, you know, when the communication doesn't get there, or it's now it's all about money, what happened to that hunger, you know? Well, that hunger when we were all together when we first started, when everybody was on the same page, you know, when everybody's it's like every band, you know, when you start having differences and different opinion, and you start, you know, well, if I don't record this song, if you don't record my song, and you should do this, and when they started telling you more, and you feel like, man, now it's not really us now. We feel like we're just a robot, you know. Now we're back to being a cover, being told what to do instead of letting us do what we feel. What we'd like.
Right.
Of course we need new ideas anytime, but you don't want to feel like you're being tormented or being really, you know, forced to do something. That you want to feel the freedom of having that freedom of doing what you do best, creating your own thing sometimes.
It wasn't like if you guys were a rookie band starting for the first time ever, right? You guys have already been there long enough to where, hey, man, you know, there should have been comfort between you and the record label. In other words, an understanding. Ya se conocían uno al otro, ¿verdad?
Well, you know, exactly. You know what was really crazy? What gave us a lot of promotion the first time we did our first album with Freddie, we used to, and our live shows, we started doing a lot of potpourris, you see. We started thinking, oh, my God, you know, we did one song after one song after one song after another one song. We had all this energy and playing and song and not realizing this, you know, not just play one song, stop. One song, stop. You know, another song, stop. You know, we had these potpourris, we kept doing it so much. So the first time that we met Freddie and we were in the studio, that's what we did. Remember, there were albums back then in '89. Right. So that album called ¿Qué le vas a dar? We did an album. We went in the studio and we did a potpourri, that 15 minutes potpourri that we did. We went in there. It took us like 3 days, but we did the potpourri. When we finished it, Freddie walked in, senior, said, we thought, okay, what's he going to think? What if he doesn't like it? And, you know, what if he doesn't think we have the right idea? What if it's something new for the market? What if he's saying it's too much? And we were thinking, we were sweating, because if he doesn't like it, we're going to do it all over, and, you know. So he sat there and he went, he heard the whole thing. He said, well, we go first. Well, what do you think? He goes, so you did a potpourri on one side of the album. What about the other side? I said, no, well, the other side has single songs on it. He goes, let's try it. Him not realizing, us not realizing, because he thought, well, what if it doesn't get airplay? Hey, did Elvis know what he was going to do, what he was doing? No. Michael Jackson? No, no one. It's called, just challenge it. I mean, if people are liking it at our shows, why won't they like it on the radio? But what if it's too long? Because what if, what do they usually do in any song? They can cut it if they want to, you know? So he said, well, you know what, let's try it. And he couldn't believe, neither could we, he couldn't believe how many stations loved it. How many DJs were saying, God, this is awesome. We get a break, put the put the Chamacos potpourri on, and, we can get away from the mic. We can go outside, smoke a cigarette, or, have lunch. They would tell us all kinds of things. They were telling us, you don't know what you created, what you started. And we're like, really? And we're thinking, no, we appreciate it. Listen to the exposure, the promotion, the airplay we're getting on the radio. That's what separated Los Chamacos from everybody else, knowing that we could do something like that, our first potpourri. And that's what we like. See? We were being creative.
Jaime, I'm gonna give you. I think this is a bad memory. It's a bad memory in general. Let me take you back here a little bit. You guys used to play at T-Town all the time. Remember T-Town?
Sure, in San Antonio, right?
T-Town, Tejano and Proud on top of the hill. Anyways.
Oh, yes. Okay, on San Pedro, yes.
There you go. Here's a fun fact for you. I used to DJ there. I was there from 91 to 94.
What?
And I was there from 91 to 94. And I remember one night, Jaime, do you know where I'm going with this? What? I remember one night you guys played there. And somewhere along the lines, algo pasó. Something happened, and they asked you guys to leave, and then you guys came back, and something about pay or... Do you remember that mess?
Oh, my goodness. I after that year, you know how many of those we've had quite a few times? I don't remember the exact story, but I want to say that, you know how it is in the business when you're guaranteed something.
Sure.
You know, and then,
sure.
And what happens at the last minute? If people don't show up or enough people, see, that's what a lot of fans don't realize the hardship bands go through, you know. What happens is you can't, that's why it's hard for us to have, you know, all our family, all our friends show up and everybody, hey man, get us in, can we get in, this and that. You can't get passes to everybody, even though you're getting a guarantee, because what happens? No one wants to pay you, you know. The owner's going to say, hey, well, it's like, I'll tell you something that resembles what you just said right now. I remember a while back when we played with Steve Jordan, you know. The night before Steve Jordan, it was in Brownsville. He was at this place called Casablanca Club. And they told us, no, hombre, Steve Jordan was here last night. Hombre, it was packed. It was great. He said, pero he had 150 guests. I said, what? Yeah, that's how many fans and friends he has. You know, he's got so many people that he didn't want to be mean. He didn't want to be rude. But he told us to get them all in. So they had a big argument. I thought, man, that always brings me back to that. You know, and I try to remember that with my family and friends. You know, when we go play somewhere, remember, you know, it's not easy to just say, hey, and, you know, they've told me, you do not become friends with your fans, because if they're going to love you, they're going to support you, they need to want to see you because they want to see you. Because when you become friends with your fans and family, then it separates the hunger, it separates the support, realizing how important it is for all of us. Where we eat from? Where do we eat from? We eat from that.
You know what, Jaime? Those are very, very wise words right there. They really are.
Well, thank you, sir.
They really are, man. Those are words to live by. But like I said, I'm not trying to. Like I said, I was just remembering. I said, wait a minute, and I remember because, like I said, I didn't get involved with the money's part of it or who did what or whatever. I just remember to where you guys had all your stuff on the stage. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I was getting ready to leave, and there was some squabble about who got paid, who didn't get paid, and I was like, these guys, they got to come back and get their stuff, man. I could see your accordions right there, man, your colorful accordions up there on stage and all, and I said, these guys got to come back, man, hey.
Well, you know, back then, my manager was my brother, Henry De Anda. Henry was the manager back then, and when he spoke and he told me what to do, he was my brother.
Well, of course.
And I had to, you know, follow his rules. So
of course.
Said, oh, well, they're not going to pay us this and that. We'll leave it this and that. I guess we probably thought about it after we left. We thought, hey, our instruments, hello. You know, wake up, you know. I know we didn't get paid, but we don't also want to leave, you know, collateral there. You know, we leave everything. Our instrument would mean so much. So maybe we probably snapped and thought, hey, well, what are we doing? I think we need to take.
They're going to be in the pawn shop across the street, man. That's all.
No kidding. But you know, we just want sometimes our fans to realize. You know, my brother Henry, he had a lot of good ideas also at the time. You know, he realized and he told me, look. If you want fans to respect you, you have to respect them and realize how important it is to be an artist. You know, you cannot be an artist and a friend to all your fans. You have to have the respect of them respecting you as an artist to let them appreciate what you're doing. I said, he would tell us big examples, you know. I said, look, for example, you know, look at Michael. He can't walk around. Michael Jackson can't walk around. He can't talk to everybody and be everybody's friend, this and that. Because why? If you see him every day, what are you going to do? You're going to get tired and go to the next artist.
That's right.
Have hunger for.
That's right.
Who's this guy? Well, we never heard about him. The Chamacos are here. Yeah, but I saw him last week. Remember, he goes to my house. He has dinner over here. We talk to him. I see him all the time. You know, and I thought, oh my God, it kind of sounds bad, but in the business world, it makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, Jaime. So now let's get to the parting between you and Freddie Records. When did you know? You know what? It's time for us to part ways, man. When did you realize this?
Well, I guess because, too many differences, too many arguments of saying what you better do, what you better not do, and how we were talking to each other. The respect wasn't like with respect of what we should do. It was like a demand. It was like, you better do this. You better record this song. Or if you don't record this song, we're not going to promote the album. You could feel it. We're not going to do this much for you, or we're going to do less. If you don't put this song from him, they're not going to do much exposure. And I thought, why does that not sound fair, And my brother's like, Jaime, in the business world, it's not fair. It's all about business. I said, well, I don't understand. I said, well, that's why where we're at right now. We're arguing with him. You guys want to do something. They want to do something different. You're having all these differences. And what's happening? The communication is being less. And the respect is becoming no respect because now there's anger. Now there's
right.
There's a lot of tension going on in the studio. So now you're not feeling comfortable recording in the studio because it's not like it
right.
used to be. It's not,
That's
it's
right.
Not that feeling of going there and having that energy and that animo and everybody's happy. It's like, oh, we got to record. Okay, we're cool. Sometimes I'll be honest with you. We'd be recording a song, in the studio till 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, sometimes Freddie Sr. would show up at 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, hold on, guys, don't go away. Hey, I got a song. I want you to listen to it. Are you serious? We're kind of tired. Oh, come on, come on, listen to it, man. You thought, well, if you don't listen to it and you don't really, work with it, we know what's going to happen. You see, here we're back to that game. Like, we're playing games instead of realizing that we're creating tension, If he's all rested up and we've been in the studio so much and you show up and we're tired and we don't want to sound rude and mean, but, hey, we've been here all day. I'm tired. We're tired.
So it was time.
Okay.
So
yeah. It was like, I'll get you guys a Whataburger. Now they weren't buying the steaks. Now they were buying the Whataburgers. You see how everything changed?
I'll get you a Whataburger, man.
He's like, it's time out to get a Whataburger.
Hey, it could have been worse, man. It could have been Taco Bell, man. Come on.
Hey, no kidding. And sometimes, you know what? It was whatever was available at the time, because back then there weren't that many restaurants available at that hour.
I hear you, brother. So look, I'll tell you what, Jaime. You guys parted ways. That's the way. That's the nature of the beast. So now you're signed to a brand new record label. Talk to me about your record label.
Well, you know what? Before that, I'm going to back up one track.
Sure.
I had the honor. Los Chamacos, my guys today, my drummer, Ruben Mendoza, has been with me 15 years. My bass player, like I said, Eduardo, is doing 28 years. My bajo player, his name is Robert Jocelyn. His dad is René Jocelyn y Los Favoritos. So he comes from a conjunto band and this and that. So when we were looking for another bajo player, he stepped in, and his dad told him, no, you're not going to make it, because he had a rock band. Hey, the rock band, there's too many bands out there. If you want to do something, look, Chamacos is looking for a bajo player. You should try it, this and that. And he was like, I'll give it a shot. Real calm, cool, And we had a lot of bajo players audition for us. But when he went up there, he played it like nothing, man. He was like, oh, man, he's guys. But can he dance? We started thinking, because he looks real stiff. Can you do all this? Not realizing the mentality he had for music. He was really good and very creative. And then from there, within the years, he had the chance to form his own record label. Now, before we came in with V&B, we got to record with his own record label. He tried out with his own record label called Jocelyn Records. We came out with a CD called Freedom Tour. That was in 2008. You see, after Freddie Records.
Okay.
So we try to do our, how computers are changing now. You can do a studio work anywhere, You got all these computers that you can do in your own garage now, and it sounds like you did it in a professional studio, whatever. So he had created his own studio in his house, and he started having us and a lot of other bands. But it piled up on him, It's got, it's hard when you get in the record business, doing your own thing. Yeah, it's changing. Because you got social network now. It's easier, to download an MP3 and send it to radio stations now. But there's not that many radio stations now. See? So it's turning now. So instead of radio stations now, there's internet radio stations and understanding. And we're recording with him for a while. We tried it. We did that one record label, one song it's called. We had a Popodí de Rigo Tovar. Well, I have a MIDI accordion, an electronic accordion that Gabanelli, he designed for me. And with that accordion, man, I can play the accordion, and I can also, you'll hear synthesizers, pianos, sax, violins, trumpets, I don't care, you name it. And I'm playing like you thought I added about 10 other musicians with me, and this is my electronic digital accordion. So I did all this stuff. We did something with him one time. So while we did it with Jocelyn Records, we saw that it was getting hard. It was getting tough for him. He's got too many bands. He's recording. It takes a lot of work, and they keep up with it. So we started saying, hey, you know what? Look, thank you, man, for giving us an opportunity to do your own thing, to do your own label. We haven't recorded in a while now because it's been like 3 years later. You're talking 2008. We haven't come out with an album in a while because it's been so difficult. Him trying to do that. He had a catering business going on at the same time, and we're like, you know what? We need to move on. We need to, at the same time, hey, I'm already talking with other people, and, you hear opportunities. But I would talk a lot with Chente. We would talk a lot, man. I mean, Chente, I respect the man because the guy is very talented. He's in his own little world. He's very creative. He's one hell of a drummer. He's one hell of a vocalist. He's a very good songwriter. And I was picking on, I said, hey, man, why don't you guys ever do something? Or, he had his own label, I think at the time called Taconazo or something like that.
Okay.
And we were talking about, we're talking. He said, what are you going to come up with a CD? And we're like back and forth. Well, we're not sure. We're in between yes and no. And I don't know, we might. And, it's getting pretty hard on Joel. And, it's piling up on him. And before you know it, when they started thinking about their own label and talking about it, he says, hi, man, what do you think of giving me a chance, man? Give us a chance. Won't you try it? I said, man. So I had a meeting with all my guys and started telling them, I said, hey, Raul, all respect. Let's take a break if you want to, and let's give these other guys a chance, and maybe they can, do the things we need, or not realize that it won't be so much pressure for you at the same time. And, man, my guys are so down to earth and so cooperative that I'm blessed. I'm very blessed to have, guys to be understanding, and he understands the business world. That helps a lot, too. So without arguing, he says, you know what? Sure, man, we all talked about it. We had a meeting, and we sat down, and we talked with the V&B Music, with Chente and Gilbert and Mr. Jorge Marroquin, and we said, let's try it, man. We sat down. We're gonna do I think it's a 3-year deal with these guys, and let's sit down in the studio to see what we come up with. And Chente wrote this song here, and we're like, I don't know, we're like, well, I couldn't get it. I thought it was a bolero at first. And have you heard it, Todo Para Mí? Have you had
Actually, I haven't received it yet, but I'm going to get it from you. I'm going to get it from you. But
okay, I'll take
but,
it.
But,
yes,
but, but,
go ahead, sir.
But Jaime, the name of the album, the name of the CD is Born to Be Bad, ¿verdad?
Yeah, we couldn't. I mean, look at us. He came up with it too, and Chente said, "Hey, man, let's call it Born to Be Bad." I said, "Chente, but we're gonna start. We haven't been to Mexico in over 7 years." I said, "What are they gonna say over there? Born to Be Bad. What are they gonna say?" Pues la verdad they say, "Nacido para ser malos." I said, "Oh, that's the name of the CD. Nacido para ser malos. Born to Be Bad." So we made it English. So we thought, okay, well, we like it.
Let's talk about your song Todo Para Mí.
Yeah, well, when Chente wrote this song, we were in the studio in there and, trying to do our own little thing, trying to do something original, a little bit different. And, the guy started talking about it and says, you know what, why don't we ask Gilbert Velasquez to put a guitar part piece in there? You have to hear it. He did a little guitar part in there, and our fans that knows us for so many years, we thought, what are they going to say? Oh, they're changing their style. They're going Tejano. They're leaving their roots. You gotta have the negative too. We're thinking, well, sometimes the negative is good to hear a positive because you gotta have a negative in order to make you feel like, well, what if they turn around and like it? You never know. It's got to be something different. If you're gonna do everything the same, then they're gonna say, oh, but it's almost like the other song that you recorded. I thought, well, that's true too. So we don't want to do that. So we asked Gilbert to stick a guitar piece in there, and he did, and he had it, and we heard it, and we thought, it does sound different, man. We're going to get a lot of negative. We're going to get a lot of, feedback. We're going to hear it. And when you hear the fans, the first thing they said, yep, they changed their style. They're not chamacos anymore. They're not conjunto anymore. But you know what? We said, that's only the single. You need to hear the whole CD.
There you go.
Then you'll know. So then you'll know what we're coming from. You got to come up with something different. It is hard. It is something, it's like when when you come up with a new movie, you're trying to do something different. You're trying to be creative and trying to get the people's attention. Well, that's what we did. We had to get their attention first and had to hear all the criticism first also and, behind it, but not realizing that, no, listen to the other songs. I did a song on there that, Amor del Alma. Amor del Alma is an old song that Los Dos Silbertos did. So I'm a big 2G fan. So I got the 2G special. I did a little potpourri. It's called Los Dos Silbertos. I did a potpourri called Oh my God, I got so much in my mind right now, so many songs. Well, a lot of my fans know what it's called the 2G special because it's called Viejas Caleras in there, and what's the other one? I'm thinking about the music, right?
to find the lyrics.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. Okay, I can't think so fast, and but I call it 2G special because it's a potpourri that we got from them. Now, on the CD, now after you hear Todo Para Mí, if you hear the rest of it, you're going to hear that Alma Enamorada. You're going to hear little Ángel Flores I did, Cuando Me Oigas Cantar. Chente did a duet with us on that song there, Cuando Me Oigas Cantar. You got to hear the whole CD. It's a lot of feeling of Chamacos steel. It's got that hardcore conjunto. It's got a little bit of different of it from the single from Todo Para Mí. And then, it's got the other style of like Canción de Preso. Man, that's where Alma Enamorada sounds like. Something like
there
that.
There we go.
That conjunto, exactly. And then, what else we did? We stuck in there Mi Música Favorita. The way we play it live,
okay.
The extended version. Then we had to just throw it in there. Ex-Novia. You got to hear the new
Ex-Novia, like Ex-Novia.
Yeah, yes, sir. You got to hear it. And, I want to thank these guys, all my guys, everybody in the background, my musicians, my staff, of course, my manager, David Amador, and everybody that's supporting us so many years, my stage tech guys and everybody. I tell you, it's been a lot of hard work. But also at the same time, it's been worth it because when you do what you love, you feel like you're still accomplishing something, And my guys, too, I got my youngest guy is Gilbert Fierros Jr. He's from San Antonio. He's my percussionist. And he's spices up a lot of things, too, on the cumbias and stuff. Because we used to just be four guys. They thought, do we add congas or not? But for cumbias, man, people love cumbias, So what do you got to do? You got to... Get that extra feeling, spice it up, whatever you can do. And he does a lot of that for us. And he grew up with Chamaco music, not realizing it. And he's added a lot of spice to los Chamacos. And you got to hear some stuff on this new CD, Born to Be Bad. It's really pretty bad to me. And I mean bad isn't good.
Jaime, any last words for your fans?
All I wish is our fans to never give up their support and to realize anytime that we're in town and we're going to be there, don't be afraid to tell your fans to go out there and buy tickets. Buy the CD. We don't need you to burn it. It's so easy to, burn CDs. Buy the CD. Support the bands because that makes us, and it gives us the accomplishments to go back in the studio, to record more, to feel like the industry is still here. Conjunto and Tejano music is not, I got a song called Conjunto No Morirá, written by Bobby Pulido. He wrote it, also that song for me. And it's so true. Conjunto No Morirá. And we're not. We're here to stay. And we want our fans to please go out there and show your support. When we're in town, buy tickets, show your love, and let everybody know Chamacos is puro poder.
Jaime De Anda, thank you for being part of Robert Rivas Radio Morning Show.
Thank you.
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.